Hello, today I am just doing a short video on the Nitehawk pop-up one-person chair hide, purely because I picked it up recently, really inexpensively. I mean, it has an RRP of £67.99 and I picked it up for £45. I wasn't expecting miracles with it, but as it turns out, it's a really inexpensive, half decent quality hide that's quick, simple, light. Well, I say light, 6.4 kilos, but when you consider it comes with a chair, I don't think that's too bad. Okay, as you saw before, literally comes in a black bag, drawstring top. It has a small pocket sewn into the side that zips separately, that holds 4 pegs, which I thought was a really nice touch, because usually they come in a little bag that end up getting lost, but this doesn't. Comes with a cup holder, which is also nice. Size when it's open, it's 46 inches by 55 inches by 52 inches, which is quite a nice size. I mean, you've got plenty of room, and I'll show you a little video on the inside later, using a light on top of the GoPro that I bought with me, so you can see kind of what it's like when it's down. It's got quite a few zip open holes in it to either look out of, get air, or to line your camera up in. It's made out of polyester, which is waterproof. The seams aren't waterproof, but unless you're going to spend a lot of money, you're not going to get something that's kind of 100% waterproof. It only really comes in where the stitching is, or where the zips are, because they're not like a waterproof zip either. But the water then doesn't drip on you. It kind of runs down the outside, and if it does come through, it runs down the inside. So unless you're going to be in like torrential heavy rain, then I don't think it's something you need to particularly worry about. Well, I've written down some positives and some negatives when it comes to the hide. In fact, I'll start with the negatives, because it's always better to finish on a positive note, I think. I've mentioned that I don't know how waterproof it is. I mean, I can't imagine it being greatly waterproof. And when I looked at reviews on Amazon, which is where I was originally thinking of trying to get one, people had left some bizarre comments which make me chuckle. Reviews like it was larger and heavier than I expected. Well, if you'd have looked at the description, it tells you how heavy it is and how big it is, and that's why I tend to try and have a scout through the reviews, because people are thick, unfortunately. Yeah, and someone on there had mentioned that they'd been out in a torrential storm, and even though it wasn't waterproof, it did come in, not massively so, but it did run down the insides. So that's where I got that bit of information from myself. It doesn't have a lens cover when you zip open the little camera hole, which again I'll show you now. Sorry, I thought it was a... So it is, it's deer in the edge of the field. Fellow does. 2 of them, 3 of them. Sorry, yeah, no, it doesn't come with a snood, a hood that covers the hole that you unzip. So even though the inside of this is completely black to stop light coming in and stop you being so visible, I do prefer when they have that kind of zip-in, you know, that velcroed or zip-in snood cover like the more expensive ones tend to have. But that will probably be something I will probably make myself. Yeah. The other thing I noticed is that when it is down, that when you've unzipped and you've got your lens through, if it rains, it's just going to come in the front. Again, I'll show you a bit now, so you can see there if it comes down and it rains, it hasn't got like a hood. Again, it might be something I might try and do myself, but we'll see. And the other negative I'd had written down was that it is 6.4 kilos. And like I said, any hide that you buy, nothing's particularly light. The only ones I know that are police helicopter. The only ones I know are light are I don't think they call them blanket hides, where they're literally kind of just thrown over you. You know, you sit down, it's got like a little camera snood, and it goes over your head, and they literally, it's like a giant poncho, really. But I found anything that's framed, anything with a seat, it is going to be heavy. So I think personally, for the £45 or the £67.99 retail price, considering it comes with a chair, a comfy chair, standard camp chair with a holder, and the room it gives you internally, your bag and you, I really don't think that's too bad at all. Well, I made a few positives. Before going to the positives, you could see that on the back of the rucksack that it's fairly flat. It doesn't stick out too much. They don't give you the packed dimensions on the website, so I did strap it all down and took the dimensions, which is 36 inches long, 18 inches wide, and between 4 and 5 inches deep. That's to do with just the flap of the material and squashing it down. So I think most camera bags really nowadays have, certainly the bags I've had, the cheaper and the more expensive ones, they have actually had a means of larger straps attached to it to tie these things down. And if you don't have a little bit of paracord or elastic bungee cords, you know, there's half a dozen ways you could do that. It does have handle straps, shoulder straps kind of on it, and I'll show you here that you can just loosen the straps as like a grab handle and throw it on your back if you are just carrying that and maybe your camera on a tripod over your shoulder. I think it'll work. Right, now obviously it's polyester, so it's going to stop the wind. I don't doubt that for 1 second. Again, a review I'd read is that someone had said that it wasn't windproof like it states because, you know, the wind comes underneath. Well, the wind is going to come underneath. Unless you're in like a seam sealed tent, the wind is going to come across your ankles. So if you get cold ankles, then, you know, put wellies on, or as I've got like neoprene winter wellies to keep you warm, or a blanket. There's a dozen things you could do to stop you being cold in it with that breeze. I find that it does come right down to the ground. You could put the pegs in, that really helps pull it down to the ground. And one of the biggest positives I found was it literally just takes seconds to erect. I tend to, the strap that you tie it up with, I have had just sitting over the back of the chair, so it's easy to grab. Or really, you know, you just grab the material at the sides. It's all very quick and easy to come over. I'll put that away. Right, so let's put that up, have a chat about some of the external features. This is the small flap. And as I was explaining, that when you've got your camera in there, if it rains, it is going to come straight down. Yeah, I'm not quite sure how I'm going to resolve that as a possible issue. I mean, I also figured is that if you're in the middle of a field, obviously not much you can do about it, but if you're on the skirts of a woodland, maybe looking out into the field, which is tend to be where I end up putting my hides half the time, is that you could carry a small tarp and have that just over the top of it, or hang it in the trees above it as you would with a normal tarp, and that really will keep you dry, and it'll also save you having to dry it out when you get home also. Now, it does also have a big section. So you can see how much more room there is with that. Gives you a good view. So, you know, if you're wearing camouflage as well and you're sitting inside and you just want to use it as a kind of wind and rain protection, and you're sitting here with binoculars and camouflage gear as well, I think, you know, that would give you some really good visibility. Let me set up the camera inside it too. Let's give you a quick 360. I think it's got good field of view. I think there's plenty of motion to be had here. I'm looking forward to actually spending some time in it. I mean, now there's, you know, actually more room than I thought there was going to be. Very comfy. Let me grab the GoPro and we'll show you the inside. I put a little flashlight on top of the GoPro so you can get like an idea of how much room there is. There's plenty of room here for your camera bag. I mean, you know, it's not going to be luxurious, but there is plenty of room. And yeah, you can see the zips and that from the inside. You know, you've got some view. And potentially handheld camera out of that window. Again, at the back here. It's got some Velcro. So when this is opened, it Velcros on there. So it just kind of keeps it out of the way for you. Yeah, and I think if I open up this whole one, and that shows you a nice view. Oh, well, I think that's all about I can really say on it. If you've got any questions, please leave a comment down below, and I promise I will get back to you with an answer. If you've got any questions about the spec, the feel of it, dimensions from the seat to the very front, or the height of my tripod to where the hole sits, the height of me, so how much room, you know, like if you're really tall, because I'm a dwarf, I can imagine, you know, the headroom's not going to be maybe as good, but I've got it, I'm going to use it. So any questions at all, please leave a comment down below. So if you haven't subscribed and you'd like to, then that would be great. It helps the channel grow. Giving it a thumbs up also really helps. So for me, till next week, thanks for watching. Bye for now.